All right, today we're diving into a fascinating, really detailed guide to the afterlife. Now, this all comes from an account based on communications supposedly from another dimension. So what if everything you thought you knew about the end was, well, just the start of something else?
So let's just get right to it. The big question. What if dying isn't the end? What if you just keep on living in a place that feels every bit as real as the one you're in right now?
Okay, so if we're going on a journey, right, the first thing we need is a map. So before we get into what happens to you, we got to understand the lay of the land, the grand design of the cosmos, at least as it's described in this account.
All right, so the author's context lay it out like this. The entire cosmos is organized into 7 different levels or planes of existence. We're down here on level 1. This is physical reality, Earth. Now, the main destination after we die, for most of us anyway, is level 3, a place called Eden. And from there, as you evolve and progress, you can move up through the other levels, getting closer and closer to what this account calls the source, sort of the center of everything.
But you gotta understand, this isn't like a physical map where you can just fly a rocket from level 1 to level 3. The author makes it really clear that the levels are all superimposed over each other, beyond time and space. Think of it less like floors in a building and more like different radio stations. They're all broadcasting in the same room at the same time, but you can only tune in to one frequency at a time. It's about vibration, not location.
Okay, so that's the map. Now for the really interesting part. What actually happens when you get there? What's it like to be you after, you're not you anymore?
So, the first thing to get your head around is that dying doesn't just wipe the slate clean. It's not a factory reset. You show up as you. Your personality, all your memories, your quirks, and yeah, even your emotional baggage. All of it makes the trip with you. You don't just instantly become some perfect, all-knowing angel. But then a really profound transformation starts to happen. And the very first step is this deep, regenerating sleep. Apparently, it lasts for about 6 weeks in our time, and it's all about healing and just resetting.
And what happens when you wake up is, well, it's pretty incredible. You wake up in a body that looks and feels like it's in its absolute prime. Think 25 to 30 years old. It doesn't matter if you were 90 when you passed. Any illnesses are gone. Lost limbs are back. Your eyesight is perfect. It's a total reboot to peak vitality. And when you compare that life to this one, man, the differences are just huge. Here on Earth, our bodies age, they break down. On level 3, they're constantly regenerating. Here, we have physical pain. There, the only pain you can feel is the mental or soul-level anguish you brought with you. Even basic things like eating and sex get a total overhaul. Down here, they're tied to survival and procreation. Up there, they're purely for pleasure.
So that's what happens to you. But where are you? Where does all this take place? Well, let's take a little tour of your new home. It's a planet they call Eden.
And the way this place is described, it's just wild. For starters, Eden is huge, roughly the size of Saturn. It's got not 1, but 3 suns, so it never gets pitch black, just this beautiful, gentle twilight. The climate? A constant, perfect 83 degrees Fahrenheit. And get this, it's home to something like 60 billion humanoids, plus all these incredible animals we've never seen before, and even butterflies, the size of soup plates. It sounds like a world literally built for just pure enjoyment. But maybe the most mind-bending thing about the whole planet is this feature called the River of Eternity. It supposedly circles the entire planet, and its total length is 100 million kilometers. Just try to wrap your head around that number. It's absolutely staggering.
Yeah, which of course leads to a pretty obvious question, one the author himself wondered about. How is that even possible? A river on a planet the size of Saturn is somehow 23 times longer than the entire circumference of our sun. I mean, the cosmic physics of that just seems completely impossible, right?
Well, the theory that's offered is actually a really cool analogy. The idea is that the river isn't just a simple, straight line around the planet. Instead, it twists and turns and folds in on itself over and over again. Kind of like how your body packs 6 feet of DNA into the nucleus of a single tiny cell. It's the ultimate cosmic packaging problem.
Okay, so you've arrived, you've got your 25-year-old body back, and you're living on this amazing planet. But you're not alone, right? So who are your neighbors? Let's talk about the Society of Souls you'd be joining.
This is really interesting. Society there isn't organized by countries or governments or anything like that. The organizing principle is something called resonance. It's described as this natural force, kind of like gravity is here, that just pulls like-minded souls together. You naturally gravitate towards your people.
the ones you vibe with. And the population you're joining is, well, it's about as diverse as you can possibly imagine. We're talking humans from countless different worlds, from every time period you can think of, all living alongside dwarves, giants, gnomes, even beings that don't have a physical form at all. It is a true cosmic melting pot.
But, and this is a really important point, all that diversity means a lot of different baggage comes along for the ride. This isn't some instant, perfect utopia. As the author's context says, almost every one of us arrives here with false hopes and expectations. You know, people might get there and be kind of bummed to find out that the person they couldn't stand on Earth is also in paradise with them. It just goes to show you the personal growth. That journey definitely continues.
So, what's the underlying rule? What's the physics engine that makes this entire reality run? Let's get into the one fundamental law that governs everything we've talked about.
Okay, this is it. This is the big one. According to this entire account, this is the single engine that drives the whole cosmos. The idea is so simple, but unbelievably profound. Your thoughts shape your reality. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some rule for the afterlife. It's a universal law that's at play right here, right now, on Earth, even if we're not always aware of it.
And this really highlights the key difference, right? Here on Earth, in level 1, reality seems so solid, so fixed, so external to us. But once you get to level 3 and beyond, reality is experienced as something totally different. It's fluid, it's changeable, and it responds directly to the thoughts of the beings who are living there. So, that kind of leaves us with one last really big, powerful question to chew on. If that fundamental law, that thoughts create reality, is truly universal, if it applies everywhere, including right here, then what kind of reality are we creating? What reality are you creating for yourself right now with your own thoughts?